Excel Chapter 9, pages 492 through 495. Okay, first of all, there's a lot of reading to do in this particular chapter to be able to understand what we're going to be doing with the different types of investment options and analysis that we're creating. So first of all, open the investment workbook, do a file, save as, and name it Investment Analysis. And then, as usual, go to your documentation sheet and enter your name in cell B3 and the current date in cell B4. Okay, usually when same stuff we do at the beginning of every chapter. Get that done and then pop over to the investment worksheet and read pages 492 and 493 so that you'll understand the formulas that we're using. And then at the bottom of page 493, step number 1, on the investments worksheet, in cell A5, enter monthly payment. Just like that. Pop to cell B5 and enter a negative. Please make sure it's a negative 100,000 and press your tab key. Alright, in cell B5 we entered negative $100,000, which is the amount of the initial investment. You enter a negative value to indicate a cash outflow from the company into the money market fund. The value appears as, in parentheses, 100,000 in red font, representing a negative cash flow, because Diane already formatted the worksheet, that nice Diane that she is. Flip to page 494, step number 3. In cell C5, enter 300,000 for the investment goal, which is what you want the future value of the investment to be. And then press your tab key. The value appears as 300,000 to indicate a positive cash flow. Okay, so you can see it's in black, there's no parentheses. So this is what a positive number looks like in this worksheet, and this is what a negative number, and you have to know that because we didn't format it, Diane did. So make sure you're aware of how she did that. Alright, in cell D5, enter 5.4% for the annual interest rate. Then press your tab key. In cell E5, enter 12 for the number of months needed to convert the annual interest rate into a monthly interest rate. So we're going to type in 12 and press our tab key. Months per year is 12, of course. Alright, number 6, step 6. In cell F5, enter the formula equals D5 divided by E5. Equals D5 divided by E5. And press your tab key. Now what that does is calculate the interest rate per month and then format the value as a percentage to 2 decimal places. Okay? Alright, step number 7. In cell G5, enter 18, which is the number of months that Diane will transfer money into the fund. 18 and tab. Step number 8, in cell H5, enter the formula equals G5 divided by E5. G5 divided by E5 and tab. Calculates the number of years that the money will be invested. And finally, step 9, in cell I5, enter the formula equals, and you can see it right there in step 9, payment F5, G5, B5, C5, to calculate the monthly payment. The formula returns the negative value of $10,242.15. All right, let's do that. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing this. I obviously reached up and hit my function key. And I'm going to go pick up my payment. I'm not going to go through this, weensy step by weensy step with you, because at this point you should have a pretty good idea of how to do that. right? Of course you do. There it is. Okay, so just like it says in step 9, I just went through and clicked on F5, and per G5, you know, again, present value, click on B5, future value, click on C5, yes, hit OK. And you'll see that your answer right here is a negative 10,242.15. Again, at this point, I'm not going to go through exactly step by step. You should have a pretty good idea of how to do it. Now, our last thing, step number 10, in cell I5, which is where we're currently located, apply the output cell style. Again, you should have a pretty good idea already of what we're doing and how we're doing it, because we've done this quite a bit. All right, let's hit save. Okay, read about calculating a future value about halfway down on page 494, then up to the top of page 495. And then when you get that finished, we're going to go ahead and start on page 495 to calculate the future value of the investment. All right, step number 1. In cell A6, enter investment goal. It'd be nice if I didn't have my cap locks on. Remember in Excel that we don't have a constant spell check like we do in Microsoft Word, so you definitely want to be double and triple checking your spelling. All right, so after you typed in investment goal, in cell B6, you went ahead and hit your tab key. Excuse me, as in cell A6, use your tab key, which takes you to cell B6. Step number 2, copy the initial investment value in cell B5 to cell B6. Cell B5 to cell B6. Step 3, copy the rate and payment period formulas and the values in the range D5 to H5 to the range D6 to H6. So D5 to H5, just grab it and pull it down. In cell I6, on step number 4, enter negative 7,500 as the present value, which is the monthly payment Bent Cycling can afford. Okay, so we're just going to type right here, we're going to type in negative 7,500. I'm going to go to cell C6. In cell C6, enter the formula equals future value F6, G6, I6, B6. Okay, so in this cell, there's a couple, you guys know this, there are different ways to enter formulas. This time I'm going to try a different way. I'm going to go to my formulas tab, and in my function library, I'm going to select financial, and we are looking for future value, yes? Again, there's always different ways to do things, but that's one way that you can do it. Very simple, very quick. All right, the first thing we need is F6 in the rate. And per is G6. Payment is I6. Present value B6. All right, the formula returns the value. Okay, I want you to take a look, because normally when I find a mistake, I just start the video over and do it over. But I think that following the book's instructions, everyone's going to have this same mistake. Now, it said that this value should come back as, where am I? 248,707, and obviously mine isn't that. So I'm sitting here looking at this. The first part I see is right here, but did you see this is where the actual error is? When we copied this down, it incremented. It incremented. Okay, this is not a formula. It's something that we copied straight down. Remember how you correct that. There's a couple different ways. We could certainly use absolute values in this case. We are literally just going to type in 18. Okay, so if you have that same thing happen, that's where it is. And that's all you do when you're going back and tracking these mistakes. Okay, is you go back and you start looking at everything that you copied down, seeing if something incremented incorrectly. And this was the one that did, because there was a 19 here. And as soon as I corrected that, we got the right answer. So if you had that same problem, all you have to do is change this to an 18 and it corrects it. If you didn't have that problem, good on you, and you can just keep going. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to cell C6. Okay, so go to cell C6 and format that with the output style. Format it with the output style. Reach up and click save, and you're ready to go on to your next video.